First Lady Melania Trump and Ukraine's Alina Zelenska have joined a campaign exposing Russia's billion-dollar operation to abduct and indoctrinate Ukrainian children, its spokesperson said. While labeling Russia's calculated attempts to strike at his country's future, Maximov of Bring Kids Back UA said the two First Ladies' contrasting roles make the organization's messaging even stronger. Together, they help ensure that no abducted child is forgotten, but apart, one speaks from the center of the crisis, and the other carries the message to the world, Maximov told Fox News Digital. Melania Trump's recent work helped bring visibility to cases that saw 7 Ukrainian children reunited with their parents. In October, the mom of one supported another 8. Melania Trump uses her voice as a mother and a public figure with compassion to draw global attention to children who might otherwise be forgotten, Maximov said. When she speaks, people listen, and she chose to use that influence to highlight the suffering of Ukrainian children directly to the person responsible for their abductions. That takes courage, he added. Melania acknowledges their pain, elevates the urgency of bringing these children home, and reinforces that children belong with those who love them unconditionally. Meanwhile, AlinaZelenska is actively involved on the ground, visiting hospitals, shelters, schools, and churches across Ukraine. She meets children who have lived through trauma no child should ever experience, providing comfort and support. In response to the organization's work, Ukraine has criminalized the deportation of children, their forced militarization, and obstruction of their return. Sanctions were also imposed on individuals involved in these abductions and illegal adoptions. Melania Trump previously wrote a peace letter to Russian President Vladimir Putin, urging him to protect children and future generations. President Donald Trump then hand-delivered this message to the Russian leader before their summit in Alaska. However, since Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022, the illegal removal of children continues to be a grave concern. Bring Kids Back UA reports nearly 20,000 children taken, though verification is challenging due to Russia's obstruction and identity alterations. So far, Ukraine has fully verified 9,221 cases, but thousands more remain unaccounted for. One example of Russia's coercive system is the case of Bohdan Yermokin, whose experience Ukrainian officials describe in detail. After being taken to Russia, he was pressured to give up his Ukrainian identity and exposed to propaganda. This highlights Russia's deliberate strategy to erase Ukrainian identity and mold children into something they are not. Maxim claimed Russia is spending billions on systems to militarize and indoctrinate these children, rather than returning them. Ukraine's position is clear. Every abducted child must be returned unconditionally. There can be no peace while even one child remains in Russia's hands. War has taken away their childhood, forcing them to live with bombings, displacement, fear, and loss. This calculated and systematic approach is aimed directly at Ukraine's future.